Good morning. I'm going to be heading down to the gym today to be showing you guys my new 4-day split. Slightly different to my last 4-day split, but some minor tweaks. The aim is to gain as much muscle as possible on the weak body parts that I have at the moment, so my arms and my legs. So I'm gonna run through the whole process when I'm down there, and hopefully some of you can take some notes. Some of you can use some of these things in your own program to help you fix your weak body parts.
And of course, we had to get the stocks and socks on. Let's go. By the way, guys, if you don't have a tripod and you need a B-roll clip, just put your camera on a recycling bin. It's absolutely fine and completely normal.
So just for context, I've been running an upper-lower split now for probably 4 years, 3-4 years. And I've decided to basically, this time round, just switch it up a little bit. Look at my weaker body parts, arms and legs, start to actually develop those. I've just changed around frequency and volume. I'm still training 4 times per week, essentially on an upper-lower. However, I've moved some arms onto leg days and I moved some other things around just so I can focus on those weaker muscle groups. So this will be the first thing I'm doing, some bicep chin-ups. The aim is to focus on my biceps more than my back and actually just load those with my body weight. Hopefully, it'll stimulate enough muscle growth to get them to blow up. So the idea of this one is I'm doing a pull-up, but I'm actually trying to put all the tension on my biceps and actually get my chin over the bar. I've seen lots of gymnasts do this and they have enormous biceps, so I'm going to try this one for a couple of weeks and see how my progress goes. It's actually very good. As long as you get it right and you start to actually put that tension on the bicep rather than letting your back take over, it works quite well. So I'm going to keep this in for the next few weeks and see how it goes. So as always, for me, I do 2 sets to complete failure or 1 rep in reserve if I'm being sensible. So the same for this one, be 2 sets, and usually I'm aiming for 8 to 10 reps. However, body weight movements can obviously vary between people. So for the first few weeks of this split, I'm going to try to get to understand sort of how my strength levels are with, especially my body weight movements, with exercises that I haven't done in a long time. And then if I need to add weight as I go through the weeks, of course I will. Oh, another thing for this, if we are doing this to focus on the biceps, the grip's quite important. So I wouldn't use a wide grip because we're going to be targeting the back and the lats for that one. But actually, what felt more comfortable for me then was actually having my hands at like a 45 degree angle, similar to how you'd actually hold a dumbbell for a bicep curl. And that's kind of how I'm thinking about this movement. So here, the next one, dumbbell, single arm, preacher curl. The idea is to set the bench up on an angle, on an incline, a bit more of a steeper incline for me because I'm tall, and obviously just put one arm over the top of the bench, hold the dumbbell, and I used to do these quite a lot, but I stopped doing them, and I was thinking the other day that I actually really enjoyed doing them, and I think I made some quite good progress with my biceps doing these, so I thought I'd put them back in. Really good isolation exercise, and just using that bench to rest the back of your arm on gives you that stability and actually really concentrate on the bicep. Of course, it's a single arm movement as well, so you can really just focus on that one muscle group and just really kind of squeeze at the top. So I'm just going to start with a 10 just to get used to the movement. Don't want to be having any injuries. So as I'm going for 8 reps, I'm gonna have to have a little bit of a guesstimate as to what I can actually lift here. So my ambitious mind is going for an 18 kilogram. So let's give that a go.
So as you can see here, 18's a little bit too heavy for the top set for me. So next week I will actually drop to 16 as the top set. But sometimes that's why it's good to record so you can actually see what's going on.
Not quite 8, but we'll take 7. And that's my gauge now. So I know now for next week, 80 kilogram is really my top set. Another interesting thing to talk about might be rest times between sets. Now, this really varies on what muscle group you're actually training. For example, you're not gonna be panting and struggling for breath after a bicep movement. Well, saying that, I am now, but you're gonna be a lot worse off after a leg press, even a bench press, any compound movements, you're gonna need a longer rest in between. So I actually rest for like 3 minutes between like my main compound movements. Isolation movements like this, probably a minute, but I don't time anything. I wait till I've caught my breath. I wait till I'm not having a conversation, and trying to catch my breath at the same time. And I'll just wait until my heart rate rests and gets back down to normal. I don't feel any sort of strain or pain in the muscle group that I've been training. And then I just start again when I'm ready. So we have dropped down to a 16 kilo for the second set. So let's see how it goes. So we've now got the incline hammer curl. Now, I like this one because you get a nice big stretch at the bottom. So let's do it. So again, we're gonna go for 8 reps with the 18s. Okay, 16s for set 2. Rested, recovered. Let's go. That's all I got. It's quite annoying when you're doing a set and the bench is just wobbling around like that. It's quite off-putting. It's not an excuse to why I didn't get 8 reps, but still. So we're now on to dumbbell lateral raises. Now, what I like to do is, just for stability, I will grab a bench and turn it around the other way, basically lean against it with my chest against the upright of the bench, and that just stops me being able to use momentum and swing the weights. It's definitely helped me perfect this exercise over time, because before I would swing, use my body to chuck the weight up, and I was lifting far too heavy, so now I use a lighter weight. Aim for stability and focus, and really try to actually target that side delt there just to come up through. So that's what I do now. Just went for that cheeky last rep to failure. So when I talk to people about failure, what I really mean is like concentric failure or technical failure. So a breakdown of technical form. So for example, that last rep, I kind of swung it, tried to get it up, only got there halfway. That was kind of a combination between concentric failure and technical failure. So concentric failure would be, I can't push to the next concentric part of the next rep. And so that means your muscle simply can't do another rep. Now, if you're doing that in a combination of swinging, then you are really at failure. Okay, so we're just gonna go for the 10s on this set. 12 got me to 8-9 reps. So I'm hoping 10 will get me roughly to the same place, but we'll see. Oh, so that really was it for that set. And for me, I'm doing 2 sets for each exercise. And so what I've found over the years of training is that that's the best version for me that works. You know, 2 sets to failure or very close to failure. And that's enough to stimulate muscle growth without building up any unwanted fatigue or just doing unnecessary junk volume. So now moving to the single arm variation with the cuff on the cables. And what this variation of a side delt movement provides is obviously the fact that it's a single arm movement and I can just target one at a time and really get focused on that. But also, because I lean away from the cable stack, I'm actually getting tension all the way through the bottom of the movement, right to the top. Whereas with the dumbbells, when you come down probably past this point, there isn't really much tension on the side delts. So the tension only really starts when you start bringing your elbows towards the ceiling. On the cables, obviously, because the tension is going across your body and back down towards the ground or towards hip height, you actually have that tension the full time. So you're dragging right from the bottom all the way to the top. So it's definitely a good variation to use and put inside your split. Probably along with the dumbbell variation of the lateral raise. Every single time I put a cuff on, I've got to move my whoop and my bracelets up. And I would say I'd take them off, but the whoop gives me quite a good understanding of what's going on with my body while I'm training. So I like to keep it. Okay. So another little helpful cue for the side lateral raise is not to just come out to the side. When you come out to the side, it's really easy to engage your rear delt and actually you're trapped. So you want to start to move out in almost a frontal plane, but if you look at the angle of my body, I'm coming out forwards and to the side, almost diagonally So if I was pointing to the corner of the room, back towards my hip, that's the angle that I want to be doing that lateral raise in. And the most important thing as well is the only thing that should be traveling towards the ceiling is everything below the shoulder. So if you start bringing your shoulders towards the ceiling, you're going to start engaging your traps. And so you just need to be keeping your shoulder fixed and just your arm below your shoulder, using the shoulder as the pivot point to actually target that side delt. So when we're talking about weak points, it's a really good idea to actually look at your body, especially when you're lean. Start to look at which muscle groups you might need to start improving on, because until you're lean, you can't really see where your muscle bellies are, the definition, your muscle insertions in some places. And so there might actually be some room to develop on your physique. And if you've been running the same split for, let's say, 5-6 months, then you might have developed some muscle groups more than others. You might have developed some, like a large chest, but your shoulders are neglected. You might have developed like really nice quads, but your hamstrings need some work. And so for me, I looked the other day after I'd become quite lean, probably 10% body fat. I was like, right, I could probably do some work on my arms, probably do some work on my shoulders, quads and calves. So that's why I've rotated my split now to focus a little bit more on those muscle groups. And traps. So this will be the first time I've actually directly trained traps in God knows how long. I can't even remember the last time I directly trained my traps. Obviously your traps play a part in a lot of back movements, especially when you're throwing the elbow. So if I'm using the T-bar row, or if I'm doing like a cable low to high row, or even like baseballs, which I do occasionally put into the end of a back day, I'll train my traps. But to actually directly train traps with a shrug, I haven't done this in years, so I'm actually quite excited for this. But I'm not starting with a heavy weight. Like I said, it's the first week on this split. And so I just need to try to gauge where I am with things before I start moving the weights up. So I want to kind of roughly estimate how many reps I could get for my top set, and then go for a back off set, log it, and then next week see if I can improve. The first 3 weeks, I'm just going to be getting used to the program before I actually start progressing further down the line. So my estimation was 8. I think I actually got 12, so that'll certainly be going up next week. So I would have done a back off set there, but I'm actually going to keep the weight the same. Just go for a second set, see if I can get 10. I've just opened my gym bag and my whole water bottle has spilled all over my straps. So these aren't going to be any good for the next movement I'm about to do. But I'll give it a go anyway. And if they are slipping off, then I'll have to just do it without straps. Such a nightmare. She's sopping wet. I should have taken them into the toilet and dried them. So this one here if you can see, we are doing a core movement, but I'm strapping my hands to the bar, keep myself secure, because this is a core movement where I'm going to be lifting my knees up towards my chest into a crunch position. And the limiting factor usually here is that you'll lose grip. Your forearms will go or your grip will go before you actually finish the movement. It's a bit more of an advanced core movement, but if you can do it, it really, really, really is good at training the core, developing those abs ready for your summer cut. So. Strap was leaking down my arm. Just to go over the split that I am running at the moment, and I'll put it on the screen as well so you guys can see. But day 1 we're doing quads, glutes and chest. Day 2 we're doing biceps and shoulders, which is today. Day 3 on a Thursday is quads, hamstrings, back. And then day 4 on a Friday is triceps and mixed. So it might sound like a bit of a strange split, but what it means is that I can focus on my legs and basically my legs, chest and back on 2 days. And then I can focus on more so my weak points on the other days with a lot of that intensity, and basically making sure I prioritize those muscle groups before moving on to any others. So that's how I've set this out. And you don't have to do push-pull legs. You don't have to set things up how everybody else does. You can set things up exactly how you need to develop your body as an individual. What are you training today then?
Huh?
Training.
I done that Sunday and it was like full upper body.
Was it? Yeah.
And it was like, you could change it, can't you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could change what you're doing, like.
Yeah, I was just talking about that. I've just changed my routine now, so just focusing on weak parts at the moment.
That's right, yeah.
You know, just I've built up certain areas quite well, and certain areas that are a bit weaker, I'm just focusing on those a little bit more, you know, so. And then it's just sticking to it for a long period of time, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people will do like the 6-8 weeks, they get a bit bored.
Yeah.
And then they go, you know. Yeah. But if you can stick to it 2-3 times a week for the duration, you should be amazed at what she can do. If she's already made progress in 6 weeks, you'll be amazed, you know. But you both will, you know, you're both doing it. So.
And you got it. You think, right, okay.
Yeah, well that's, you've got to push it, don't you? Yeah. Like I say to most people, it's like it's the first, you just got to walk in.
Yeah.
And once you walk in, it's all right. But the hardest part for people is just that first going down there, opening the door, getting set up. Once you go in, everyone, I don't know anybody that's been going for like 3-4 weeks and gone, I hate this. Yeah, most people go in and they start making a bit of progress, and they actually start getting a bit addicted to it, don't they? Like, you know, loving it. So just while I put my bag out to dry in the sun, there was a whole bottle of EAAs, glutamine, and salt. So you can imagine this, and they're like I think it's like cherry or raspberry flavored EAAs. So you can imagine how sticky everything is in my bag. But while I'm out here, just wanted to have a look at the pump. We're looking good. Obviously, we trained biceps, and shoulders. I think we're looking quite good. Oh. lot of people say that training for a pump isn't really that effective, but I know for me, if I get a good pump, it means I've had a good training session. So I don't really care what people say, that a pump doesn't mean anything, because for me, it does. But anyway guys, it is time for lunch. So I'll be making my chicken, broccoli, and pineapple, I believe it is today. And that is the end of the video. I'll be putting more videos up about training, my training split, all kinds of things, training, business, nutrition, supplementation, all things that are gonna help you develop as a person, develop with your physique, and develop with whatever else you want to develop. So please like and subscribe. And if you want to, follow me on Instagram, Tommy Bastin Coaching. Ta-da!